All right, so before we get into the chapter, I came up with some really good pre-show chatter, and I don't want a simple explanation or answer for it. I kind of want us to get deep here and explore. It's got a lot to do with, I don't want to say mental illness, but it's along that route.
Okay.
So, Dementors,
Mm.
are they a version of PTSD? And let's go way down the rabbit hole because I think they signify quite a bit.
So the short answer is technically no, but can be translated as yes. So J.K. Rowling has been very open about depression, right? So she was married, got kicked out, had no money, divorced, so she went through
Yes,
some
yes.
dark times. And so she's said that the Dementors are her way of personifying depression.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's obvious that Dementors signify depression. I mean, with the Dementor's kiss and all,
yeah.
it's a clear picture of depression. But when you look at Harry Potter and how he's affected by Dementors, so PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. And most people, like Ron, he'll say, "Oh man, I felt like I would never be cheerful again." And Harry's always like, "Oh yeah, I heard my mom screaming. I heard Voldemort killing her." That's what he goes to every time he's affected by a Dementor. So when I think about that, yes, a Dementor, at least for Harry, signify
Well, then I'm
PTSD.
sure if somebody had more traumatic situations in their life, that's what the Dementors are bringing forth,
Yeah,
right? That's what the
yeah.
Dementors are bringing forth. I think,
So it sounds like PTSD, but
yeah,
if
because remember,
they,
traumatic experiences are subjective,
yeah, yeah,
right? So we can't say, no, Ron, you didn't have any childhood trauma because your parents didn't get murdered by Voldemort, or in the real world situation, the Muggle world, right? You weren't in active military war zones, so if you never did that, you can't have PTSD, which is obviously false, right?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Anybody can have situations in their life that are just super difficult to get over. So I think the Dementors in that situation, they personify depression, and clearly PTSD would fall under that
yeah. I
category.
think so. But if we get past the point of PTSD, I think into like just a severe depression after they perform the Dementor's kiss. I mean, you're just in the depressive state. I mean, they suck the soul out of you, but you're a shell of your former self. And if you can think of anything, it's only negative thoughts.
Sure,
So severe depression
sure,
by the end. I think it starts out light. Depression, PTSD, anxiety. You might get all the feels, but
sure.
in the end, big huge bout of depression.
hmm And here's the thing. I don't think you have had to ever had depression or PTSD to be affected by
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, no,
Dementors,
exactly, yeah.
right? Because you have good scenarios, experiments, or experiences that you've gone through, and then you have bad days. You've had sucky days.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've had a great life subjectively and prospectively, if I compared it to 7 billion other people that are alive right now. But I've had sad times,
Oh yeah,
right?
I
I've
can't.
had depressing times, even
Yeah,
though I've never struggled with depression.
yeah, I
So,
can't talk about the mail. I've told my girlfriend if I'm at work, don't even mention mail because when my dad died, I was his executor to the estate, And it was just the most traumatic thing I've ever been through. His death, next to that, no problem. But that was so checking the mail. I have to walk in there. I have to open up the mail, and I have to like walk over to the counter and look at all of it. So my filing system doesn't exist because I look through the mail now. I used to have a filing system, but now I look through the mail and I go, cool, nothing life-changing. And then it's out of sight, out of mind. If there's a bill or something in there, it's not life-changing. I'm probably going to forget about it. Not on purpose. It's just, for that reason, everything's on automatic payment.
Interesting.
So, and it was the same thing with text messages, too, during that period. Any text message I got was bad news. So if I get a text now, I'm like, uh-oh, what happened? It ties into my work too, driving mixer trucks. It was, I was always going in at a different time. So a text was work. And even now they could, hey, need you to come in at 3 a.m. So I look at the text and go, oh, I'm going to have to wake up at some ungodly hour.
Yeah.
But so I think if a Dementor came around, those would be the first thing that would come to mind. Yeah.
100%.
What about you? Do you have like a specific thing that you think?
You know what? I'm very similar to Mrs. Weasley. Right? My parents are still alive. My wife's parents are still alive. We've got healthy kids. We've got a healthy wife. And I remember when I was living down in Florida, so this is probably 3-4 years ago, I'm running and I've got my headphones in, and every now and then I'll just put on just random shuffle stuff on Apple Music.
Oh, and Britney Spears and some heavy metal. And
it
rap,
will. It will. Yeah, it's so awesome. Like the stuff that you get. And you can, I can go on the watch, I can skip it or whatever. So there was this song that came on by Justin Bieber called Ghost. And in the song, there are some lyrics, where he used to be with this person, which the lyrics make it sound like a lover or a loved one. And, you've crossed a bridge that I can't follow. There are nights that I feel hollow. If I can't be close to you, I'll settle for the ghost of you. I miss you more than life. Right? So those are the lyrics. And I've known my wife since we were 8. I've loved her. I'm 40 years old. Right?
Yeah.
So 32 years of my 40 years on this earth, I've loved her.
That's
right?
Awesome. That's awesome.
And so going back to, fast forward a couple books, obviously, but Molly Weasley's boggart, her deepest fears are her loved ones, her children, and her husband dying during the Second Wizarding War at that point. So my deepest fear would probably not be something that happened.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But just the fear of...
And it's so cool because you could tie Dementors to like... Maybe not tie in so much, but it's similar to the Mirror of Erised.
Sure.
In some
it's almost
ways,
like the opposite, right?
Yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
like the opposite of the Mirror of Erised.
I was thinking about all this and I thought, yeah, it's the complete opposite of the Mirror of Erised, but you think about the Mirror of Erised and it's like, wow. Does she do that on purpose or does she even notice that? Because, oh man, it's just so cool. It's so cool. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squibscorner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew. Today we're hopping into Chapter 12 of Book 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Chapter 12 is the Patronus. But before we go forward, let's rewind a little bit to Chapter 11, the Firebolt.
The best flying broomstick that there is in the Harry Potter world, in my humble opinion.
That's right.
I know I have the Nimbus 2001. If this is full screen and somebody could see it, that's my least favorite. Honestly, not because Draco's father bought the whole Slytherin team the Nimbus 2001.
Sure,
it has nothing to do with it. And it's weird. I like black. Black is my favorite color.
Okay.
Horrible looking broomstick to me.
Yeah, so in the firebolt, obviously we go through the Christmas holidays, and Harry receives
Oh,
an
Dobby.
anonymous, that's right, an anonymous gift on Christmas morning of the firebolt. They have no clue where it comes from. Obviously, this made Hermione a little suspicious. But
That's
they go
suspicious.
on, they celebrate, they go down to the Great Hall, and there's only 12 people, 13 if you want to include Professor Trelawney, or 14 if you want to include Peter Pettigrew or Scabbers.
Huh?
Whoa, slip of the tongue there.
Hmm.
So there's not a lot of people at Hogwarts during the Christmas holiday. So they go down, they have a little dinner with a few students and a few of the professors, and then they go back to the common room, the Gryffindor common room, so that they can look and admire the firebolt.
Yes,
And
that's it.
then
Not fly it.
not fly
Not
it,
take every
because why
chance that they
would
have
you
to fly it.
get why would you get on the greatest broomstick ever created?
Yeah, great.
So Hermione and Professor McGonagall show up to the common room, and Professor McGonagall basically confiscates Harry's brand new firebolt because they think that it might. She and Hermione think that it might be sent by Sirius Black to do some harm to Harry Potter, and that brings us into Chapter 12,
Bow, bow, bow.
the Patronus.
Oh yeah.
So good. And I think I told you this. I don't know if I told you this through text, because Jeremiah and I text quite frequently throughout the week,
I
especially
sent
now
a bunch
that
of voice messages, and he goes, "Man, I don't got time to listen to these. I got to
I
cross it back right
like
now."
I'll start listening to it, and I'm like, I don't know how long this is. I'll start answering your questions, but
That's why I was like last time. I was like, maybe I should just call you. I don't know,
you're good.
but I
Yeah,
didn't
either
know if you
one's
were still
fine.
working or not. So
Yeah, either one's fine. But now, book three, I have the book, so I'll read the chapter and then I'll listen to it because I love Jim Dale,
yeah, you mentioned that.
and
Yeah.
I will listen to two or three chapters at a time instead of just the one. So I have to go back. It's like, okay, what chapter are we
I did
going
that
over
the other
tonight?
day.
What events happened in that chapter specifically? And
Yeah.
yeah, go through that. So,
All right, let's get into the 7-word summary.
ooh,
So I don't know how you're gonna like my 7-word summary.
I
A little
already
off the
love it.
rails. A
I already
little
love
off the
it
rails.
because I feel like this. You say that every episode. You give some sort of precursor to your 7-word summary every episode.
Well, I can't say this is gonna be great, and then you're like, oh, huh. That was the sentence you said. All right, so Expecto Patronum mixed with bloody ginger sheets.
Okay. Okay.
A little off the rail.
Yeah. Mine is in the similar vein. Harry Potter learning to await the protector.
Oh,
Because the translation of
that one makes you think. Gee, I
the
didn't expect to come in here and think, man.
well, you need to expecto Patronum. So obviously,
Oh,
we've talked about this many times, right? The most of the spells are Latin.
yes,
So expecto Patronum, the translation from Latin to English is to await the protector,
yeah.
right? Expecto,
Man,
so
that was
Patronum.
that was that
So
was a good
anyway,
one.
so Harry Potter learning to await the protector.
That's a good one. So, with now that you made everybody think, let's make everybody think about the 7 chapter notables. When I first listened to this, the first couple times, I was like, I can't. There's not enough chapter notables in here.
Yeah, there are not. There are not.
But then I listened to it again, and I wound up with 11,
I can see that.
and it made it a little bit easier to narrow it down. So number 1, Hermione being an insufferable know-it-all. But what does she know? 2. Expecto Patronum, obviously. 3. Unexpected friends. 4. Hermione's class schedule gets even more confusing. 5. Dementor is doing what now? 6. Neville. 7. Blood lost ginger. And now we'll get into the first paragraph. Harry knew that Hermione had meant well, but that didn't stop him from being angry with her. He had been the owner of the best broom in the world for a few short hours and never even thought about flying it. And now, because of her interference, he didn't know whether he was ever going to see it again. He was positive that there was nothing wrong with the firebolt. How would he know that he didn't fly it? I'm just going to keep repeating that like a broken record. But what sort of state would it be in once it had been subjected to all sorts of anti-jinx tests, which I'm right there with him? Is it going to be all
Valid
scratched
questions.
up? Are the
Valid
bristles going to
questions.
still be there? Like, I was just admiring this, and now you guys are tearing it apart? Cool, awesome. So, with Hermione being Hermione, naturally the trio turned into a duo again. This seems to happen once or twice every school year. But as soon as the holidays were over, everybody came back to school, including Wood, who had a... Well, remember when I said that Wood kind of... Well, I'm going to have to censor that. He had a half-assed apology to Harry after he fell off his broom due to the Dementor.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing Wood does is walk up to Harry, try to muster together the courage to kick Harry off of the Quidditch team.
It does seem like that's... Yeah, I'd
exactly
hate
what
to
he
kick
was
you.
trying to
I'd
do.
hate to kick you off the team. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wood is... I don't want to go as far as saying narcissist, but man,
Wood wants to win.
Wood
wants to win.
Man.
Wood wants to win.
He's
I respect
he's
Wood.
determined, committed.
I respect
yeah.
Wood. Wood's trying to win here.
Yeah, but man, like, hey Harry, how you doing? We'd hate to lose you, but man, you just keep like we're right there, and you know.
Yeah, you're getting that. How you doing with the Patronus problem? And you don't have a broom. You have more liabilities than assets, Harry. I mean,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
But Harry, he wasn't upset by this because Wood's attitude completely took a 180 when Harry said that Lupin was going to teach him how to fight off the Dementors. Oh yeah, okay.
Working on it.
Yeah, and then Ron comes up. Hey, Harry's got a firebolt. A firebolt. Well, don't get too excited. I had a firebolt, and I don't have it anymore.
I technically own a firebolt.
Yeah, I own a firebolt.
It's not in my possession at this point.
Yeah, McGonagall, she's putting it through the ringer, taking it apart.
A firebolt.
Jinxes.
A firebolt. A firebolt. They say he's a firebolt.
And then Wood being Wood, he's like, don't worry, Harry, I got you. I'm going to go talk to McGonagall. She's going to give it to me. I'm going to give it to you.
She wants to win this thing as much as we do. Absolutely.
So before I hand this over to you, I have a question because it confused me and I may be thinking too much about it. So the first class they talk about in the book is Hagrid's class. And the book says the last thing anybody felt like doing was spending 2 hours on the grounds on a raw January morning. But Hagrid provided a bonfire full of salamanders for their enjoyment. What does that mean? I read that sentence, I picture a fire with salamanders in it. Why is that entertaining? And if that's not what's going on, a bonfire and then you have salamanders, like none of that sounds entertaining whatsoever.
They're like
I'm confused on what's happening.
They're like fire salamanders, though.
But are they are they burning salamanders?
They're not burning them. The salamanders prefer fire.
But how is that
So,
entertaining?
well, I think they're just happy that there's a bonfire. I
I
don't think
guess.
I don't think anything is entertaining in his class since Buckbeak's incident. Everything has just been mild, tepid, nothing exciting. But at least if it's going to be a January, give us that bonfire. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess they could have left the salamanders out, but maybe she just threw them in because it's Hagrid.
That made yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. I was like,
Should have thrown
what? What is
something in.
that? What
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah, so they're back in classes, school's back in session. They go to Trelawney, so divination. Now they're doing palmistry, and Professor Trelawney's super excited to tell Harry that he has the shortest lifeline that she's ever seen, which I'm sure they don't taking. They don't take that very seriously
What did
at
we
all.
call her last episode? Mrs. Ruins all the fun?
Yeah, Debbie, she's a Debbie Downer.
Yeah,
Really
there she is again.
brings down the vibes in the room, right? She's like, oh, here comes
Hey,
Sybil.
Harry, you're not going to live very long.
Yeah,
Just wanted
but
to
do your
remind you.
homework.
Yes.
So you also have defense against the dark arts, and as Gilderoy Lockhart would say, that's the ticket. Not because he enjoyed the class, but because he wanted to know when him and Professor Lupin, because when him and Professor Lupin could get together. Because remember, before the holidays, he was talking about this issue with Professor Lupin. He's like, "Look, there's actually a spell. There's a way that you can ward off Dementors." He's like, "Yeah, hit me up with that information." And as any good professor does, he goes, "We'll do it in a few months."
It's like when somebody texts you or
what?
calls you, they're like, hey, I need to tell you something. Oh, okay. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, why did
No,
you call
you'll
me?
tell me right now.
Yeah.
Right
Don't-
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
not
So
doing
that.
that.
That was always a head scratcher. Like, well, I'm super busy right now. Oh, you mean teaching? You busy teaching? Here's what I'm asking you to do. Teach.
Teach me.
Like, let's go.
Like you say, I'm in a wizarding school.
Yeah.
Teach me wizarding things.
Yeah. So finally it's after the holidays, so they can do it 8 o'clock Thursday evening. History of Magic classroom. So this is chapter notable number 1. Hermione being an insufferable know-it-all. Though everyone should really know what she knows at this point.
She's the only
But
one that knows it.
she's the only one that knows. So Harry and Ron, they noticed that Lupin still looked sick, and then Hermione, our insufferable know-it-all, chimed in with a
What are you tutting us for?
nothing.
Yes, you were. I said, I wonder what's wrong with Lupin. And you,
Well, isn't it obvious?
if you don't want to tell us, don't.
Fine.
She doesn't know. She's just trying to get us to talk to her again.
But we know exactly what she knows, and she knows exactly what she knows, and she's spot on, and we'll learn it in chapter 18. Anyways, so it's time for Harry's anti-Dementor lessons. He doesn't quite know what to expect, know what's going to go on. So Professor Lupin tells him, he's like, look, the last couple of weeks, I've scoured the school for a Boggart. Finally found one in Professor Filch's filing cabinet. We don't want to bring an actual Dementor inside Hogwarts, but we are able to do this with a Boggart. However easy and accessible it might be at the particular time, it's bad enough just having the Dementors around. We don't want that. So Lupin explains to Harry that the Patronus charm, about the Patronus charm, and the Patronus charm is actually it is the most difficult magic that Harry has attempted at this point. Remember, he's only known he's a wizard for 2.5 years. Yeah. So he's about to try some pretty advanced magic. So the spell for the Patronus is Expecto Patronum, which translates to I await the protector. And that is how you remember on the train, Lupin had done a spell and gray mist came from his wand. It backed that Dementor up. When the Dementor stormed the pitch for the Quidditch match, Dumbledore waved his wand. Green mist, green stuff came out, warded them off. So we kind of have this expectation of what it's going to look like. But Lupin really breaks it down. And me personally, throughout the Harry Potter books, it's one of my favorite spells, one of my favorite,
Oh,
one of my
especially
favorite charms. It's just a really cool, especially at the end of this book.
yeah, the
Gets
movies, man, they did that good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exciting.
no, oh, that's great. So another thing, I also find it kind of weird that Lupin doesn't even mention the wand movement for the spell. I mean, it's described, as a very advanced spell, well beyond ordinary wizarding level, and what we just think of a happy thought and point our wand. I
Just
mean,
think of a magical thought. Yeah, I think we've talked about this.
yeah,
Book one is very elementary, right? The swish and flick, and you do all this, and I like how she kind of gradually moves into this. Magic isn't so much of a routine. If you just wave it the right way and say it the right way, you'll be able to do whatever you want to. But it
yeah,
really does come down to talent and work and engaging your magical abilities,
yeah. I
right?
kind of
Because
talk about
you've
that
got
here
these
too.
you've got these spells going forward where Harry really has to work
Oh yeah,
on some of these spells. Now he's able to accomplish a lot of them, but it's not like, oh, this spell right here, cool point. No, so I,
no,
I'm
no.
I'm glad we kind of lose the whole pronunciation slash wand movement thing, and now we're like, this is
Yeah, like
complicated.
in the
So
book, expecto patronum. Expect. What does he say? Like expecto patrono. No, 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 no. Expecto patronum.
yeah, yeah,
Well, okay, we get into that too. So, okay, let's get into how to actually perform the Patronus charm. So, first and foremost, we briefly talked about this before, and we've been talking about it. There is a corporeal and a non-corporeal form of a Patronus. Corporeal meaning it takes the shape of some sort of animal or creature, and non-corporeal meaning it basically just comes out as a blob.
what we've seen thus far, right?
Yeah. But it's not as easy as any other spell like Leviosa, Lumos, or Harry's bread and butter, Expelliarmus!
Which the wand motion there is behind the back and point hard.
and yell, yes. Or even Avada Kedavra, which we haven't got to yet. But,
Well, and I'll actually argue with you on that one later.
well, Avada Kedavra, you simply can't point your wand and yell out because you have to have an extreme desire to want to
Yes,
perform it.
correct. Yes.
Which is great because I see videos on TikTok. They're just like being lackadaisy with their wand and
Yeah.
what's this spell they're talking about, Avada Kedavra, and then they accidentally kill somebody. I'm like,
Right.
luckily I don't think that would happen. But so, like Andrew was saying, expecto patronum means I await a protector or I await my guardian. In Latin, a phrase chosen by J.K. Rowling because expecto means I await, expect,
Yep.
and Patronus means protector guardian from Latin for father. It's quite literally the opposite of a Dementor,
Yeah.
which we just tied Dementor with the
Yeah.
Mayor of Erised, now Dementor with Expecto Patronum. So a lot of tie-ins,
Yeah.
and we're here to point all that out because you would
Yeah.
not think about it otherwise.
Yeah, especially too, I think with the spells that they've learned thus far, maybe other than, Wingardium Leviosa, maybe there's got to be some sort of intention to have, whatever object levitate. But in
I would
order,
imagine you can't just nonchalantly say the word, and you got to think
yeah,
about what's happening. Just
yeah.
like riding a bike, you kind of got to think about what you're doing.
Sure. And I think there will get to a point where you kind of have this unconscious ability to do it. But, right now, as beginner wizards and witches, there takes some concentration there. But I think what's most difficult about the Patronus, especially if you're doing it in the face of a Dementor, right? If you're doing it in the face of the Dementor wants you to focus on the saddest, most depressing, like we talked about earlier, parts of your life. And in order to produce the Patronus charm, you have to think of a very happy memory, if not the happiest memory that you have. So,
Man,
so
I,
Harry, yeah,
I have ADHD. Like I've said it 1,000 times. I think this spell would be very difficult for me to keep my
sure.
mind on track. I think I could do it sometimes, and then other times I just
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it just because I couldn't keep the concentration.
You just stand behind me, okay, big A.
Yes.
What's your Patronus?
I
Have you
don't
done it?
know.
Have you done it on HarryPotter.com?
I have, but it's been a long time since I've been
Yeah.
on there. Whatever it was, I was like, oh. So it's not too
Yeah, I
impressive.
always told people mine was a lion, and then I would tell them it was a phoenix because I was like, yeah, I want my Patronus to be a phoenix. And then when I went on HarryPotter.com, it's a black mare, so it's a horse, which
Oh, no, that's
cool.
good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
cool with that.
yeah.
Especially my daughter's huge into horses, so she loves that. So
When are we gonna have her on?
yeah, we do need to have her on, don't we?
We were gonna have her on, and then
We'll have her
that
on. I'll
didn't
let her know.
happen.
I'll let her know to prep. So, when Harry gets to his first attempt, he's trying to think of his happiest thought. And he's like, yeah, okay, so it's the first time that I rode a broomstick.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
the exhilaration, the thrill of absolutely.
absolutely, yes,
Now,
yes.
something that's kind of noteworthy here. Harry was practicing the charm before the boggart comes out, and the silvery gray mist appeared. So,
That's crazy. He's
yeah,
literally standing there like, okay, it's Expecto Patronum. Okay, it's Expecto
yeah,
Patrono.
yeah,
No, wait, Patronum. Expecto Patronum. Did you see what came out of my wand? I'm like,
yeah.
this is your first. You just heard those words and you're, jeez. Already.
Yeah, so Harry now has to do this with the boggart, with the Dementor. Because you have to remember, we are now combating you focusing, keeping that happy memory in your head, and being able to do the Patronus charm in front of a Dementor or multiple Dementors. So Harry's first attempt didn't go well. He got halfway through saying Expecto Patronum for the third time, and then he hears his mother's scream or cry, if you will. Not Harry, please. I'll do anything.
Stand aside, girl.
Which, okay, so he gets the white fog kind of envelops him. Lupin wakes him up. Here, have some chocolate. Then he has a second time because, okay, well, obviously that memory, that happy memory of the broomstick can't be the happiest. So he's like, what else was great? Oh my gosh, winning the House Cup last year for Gryffindor has to
Yeah.
be just up there.
And I love how
And
it's all Hogwarts related. It's nothing from the Dursleys. The first
yeah.
11 years, let's just forget about that.
Yeah. And so he's Expecto Patronum. Then the white clouds. Lily, take Harry and go. It's him. Go, run. I'll hold him off. And then the sound of someone stumbling from a room, a door bursting open, a cackling of high-pitched laughter. This time, he hears his father. It's the first time that he hears his father. Because you have to remember, Harry was over a year old, right? He was a year and 3 months old when that happened. So not necessarily something that he would vividly recall, but
Oh, yeah, no.
brain development, I guess that's in there. I don't think he would understand the words at the time, but he's being able to recall this. So
Yeah, well, I got into this earlier with someone. The memories he's having of, these flashes of green light, the voices, the screams. Does he remember it, or is this like a memory that's kind of been made? Is it like a made memory?
well, so I'm gonna use our catch-all magic.
Yeah, okay, there
Right?
you
Magic.
go.
So we know that magic can have special powers over memories, even to the point where we can collect our memories. We can watch our memories. Okay.
Mhm.
So under the influence of consider this. If the Dementors, their goal is to make you relive or hyper focus on the worst parts of your life. Let's say it happened, let's say you're 40 years old, and let's say you had somebody pass away at 5 years old. You don't remember that verbatim, but their magic, that draw of what they do could bring that all into clarity.
True.
Right. So that's kind of, because when you read this, like, dude was 1 year old. 1 year old. He had no clue what they were saying. He had no clue what was going on. But under the Dementors' magical powers, maybe they have that ability to draw and bring that real. And so he comes out and he's like, that was the first time that I heard my dad. I heard my dad. And what's really cool, knowing what we know, having read the series, Lupin's question was, you heard James? And that's crushing. That's
crushing, heartbreaking.
I mean, that, knowing what we know, him, you heard James. He didn't say, you heard your father. He goes, you heard James.
Yeah.
And how just this guilt.
Really good wording there.
It's so
James.
simple.
Yes.
You heard James. You knew my father? As a matter of fact, I did. We were friends at Hogwarts, right? So you got to get that little seed. The first time
the way he goes about it too, like, I knew about Hogwarts.
Yeah, I know about Hogwarts.
Let's be done, or let's continue. He just
you don't have to go through this, Harry.
Yeah, he just immediately changes the subject.
He gives him that out, and here's like, no. So Harry's third attempt, which is kind of a head scratcher for me, and I'll explain why. Going for his third and what would be his final attempt for this lesson, he picks a new memory, the moment when he first found out that he was a wizard and would be leaving the Dursleys for Hogwarts. And that's what worked. So if we go back, because I went back and read the chapter or the scene where Hagrid comes in.
The hut and he's like, or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, Harry, you're a wizard. And he's like, I'm a what? You're a wizard. That can't be true.
Well,
there's no euphoria in that scene. Now,
I think he's had time to think about it, let it marinate, let it simmer.
Yes. So I think it's not necessarily a memory that's the key.
Yeah.
But it's the
thing that got him away from the Dursleys.
Right. It's him like, oh my gosh. Not only I've lived the last 10 years in straight trash, right, with the Dursleys. But not only am I leaving, I'm going to a school where I'm going to be taught how to be a wizard. Like, yep.
Yeah.
Of course that worked on his third attempt.
Harry. That would be everybody's memory for this situation.
Yes. And what's cool about it is that while he succeeded, the book doesn't paint it as some huge success, right? He still heard his mom, right? But she was faint. The Dementor was still there. But when the charm worked, there was this silvery mist that was it was shielding him between, it was between him and the Dementor.
That comes into play here in a little bit,
right?
too.
Which is a great thing. And so every time this is happening, remember, this takes extreme, not only does the charm take extreme effort, he's still feeling the impressions of the forces of the Dementor.
Yeah, he's tired. He's
my gosh.
He's wore out. He keeps passing out.
Well, and he was crying.
Yeah.
After the last attempt,
his knees are shaky
because and it says though his legs felt like water, right? He was still standing there.
So you got to think about any other spell that we learned throughout the whole series.
Has not had this effect.
Even with Avada Kedavra, the unforgivable curses, this is the most difficult curse throughout the whole entire series. Or not curse, but throughout the whole entire series.
And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't disagree with it, right?
Yeah, the effort it takes.
Well, there's two parts to this. There's the effort of producing the charm. Then there's also the effort of producing the charm while in the presence of a Dementor. So you got to remember, let's go to book 5. Let's go to, Dumbledore's army. He's got a bunch of students doing the Patronus charm, right?
Yeah.
There's no Dementors there. They're practicing on each other. And then later on, let's fast forward to book 7, you do see
practicing
students
on not a Bogart, but like a
right,
robot thing.
Right, the room of requirement. Yeah, so it's almost twofold here. It's a magic that you have to do in the face of immense and intense circumstances, which the Dementors are. So it's really, for a 13-year-old.
I'm curious to know what the other spell you think tops this is.
So, so like you said, the unforgivable curses, right? You look at it took Harry longer. And let's go to book 4. It took him longer to learn the summoning charm than it did this. Right now, obviously he didn't succeed at this, but he did on his 3rd attempt was able to do it. When it took him
attempt, like people got to let that sink because there's further wizards that can't do this.
With a Dementor, a Bogart Dementor there. Fast forward a year, but again, the unforgivable curses, you have to hyper focus on a subject. For the summoning charm, you have to hyper focus on a subject because Harry did get really good at that, where he could summon something that wasn't even his line of sight.
Yeah.
Right. So there are just different things. So I think, yes, it's a difficult charm, but it's probably the most difficult to do because you're having to do it in the presence of something that is sucking all of the happiness out of you.
Yeah.
So there's layers to it. It.
Yeah.
So at this point, they've done 3 attempts. Harry has had some good success with it. Lupin's like, cool, let's call it a day. Let's try it again next week. And then we get chapter notable number 3, Harry being the curious kid. And he goes, okay, so, if you knew my dad, you must have known Sirius Black. And Lupin...
What makes you think that? Right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, yeah. So it gets, again, one of the best parts about the Harry Potter series are the layers that she builds.
And at this point, this point, he hasn't figured out anything. We're getting there.
He who?
Lupin.
Okay.
He hasn't figured it out yet. He's getting close. So
I like the next little bit there. Oh no. Continue. That's later.
Yeah. Back to Quidditch. Let's briefly talk about Quidditch because it only gets a allotted amount of time. Slytherin beat Ravenclaw, which meant that if Gryffindor beat Ravenclaw, it was between Slytherin and Gryffindor.
Barely beat Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
That's what we have to remember there. Barely beat Ravenclaw.
Yeah. Which meant more practice. I feel like half the time we see Wood, he's like, I've developed better practice. We're gonna train harder. We're gonna train longer. Then you see him again. He's like, you know what? We gotta train more. Oh my God, Wood, come on, give him a break. So, with everything going on, Harry had 1 day a week to do his homework. So the problem with this is Harry's not exactly the model student. That would be Hermione. And it's actually about this time that she starts getting a little bit overwhelmed with all the classes that she's decided to take.
Pop quiz.
How many classes is she taking?
All together?
Yeah, how many classes is she taking right now?
Is it 12? Is it 12? Is it 13?
It's
12. It's 12.
It's
yeah.
12. Hey, don't worry. We got another pop quiz coming up later.
Oh, I got pop quizzes.
Don't celebrate too much. Chapter notable number 4. Ron, at this point, started to notice that Hermione has a lot of classes at the same time. How is she doing it? I heard her talking to Professor Vector, that arithmancy witch, this morning. They were going on about yesterday's lesson, but Hermione can't have been there. She was with us in care of magical creatures. And Ernie Macmillan told me she's never missed a Muggle studies class, but half of them are at the same time as divination, and she's never missed one of those either. And Harry's just like, yeah, sure, Ron,
Yeah.
okay. And that's when Wood came back and, hey, it didn't work, man. I thought I was everything. I thought this was going to work.
Yeah.
I was so confident.
Yeah.
She said no. No firebolt.
It's
He
so
doesn't-
relatable.
Doesn't
Isn't it so relatable?
yeah.
I'll go talk to her. This is going to work. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. She said no. She said no. You're like, oh.
It's great.
Did you ever watch? There's a series on Apple TV called Ted Lasso. Great show. There's 3 seasons. Great show. And one of the things on there, it's he says, there's a saying over here, because he's from Kansas and he's in England. He goes, there's a saying over here that's it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you.
That's true.
So Wood walks away like, we're gonna have a firebolt on the pitch. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Comes back. No.
Yeah.
No.
What broom is he using right now? He's using the not the clean sweep. He's using the
No. What is he using, Jeremiah?
Shooting star.
There it is. There it is. Okay. So Harry, and thinking about the Patronus, right? Let's jump back to that. He wants to get good at the Patronus.
Yeah.
Sure. So he's got classes going on. He's got practice going on. He's got lessons with Lupin going on.
6 days a week, right? Six different practices.
I mean, they're practicing all the time.
Yeah. Oh.
Wood is like, we've got to get it together. We've got to do this. So Harry hears his father's voice for the first time. Hears his mother's voice. And those are the only times that he gets to hear his parents. Right? So these, anti-Dementor lessons go as expected. If you're not completely resolute on one outcome,
Yeah.
then, how can you, yes, I want to get good, because obviously during a Quidditch match, I don't want to pass out and I want to, be able to finish the game. But if I'm in a classroom and I get to hear my mom's voice, if I get to hear my dad's voice, he's torn.
Yeah.
So it's not really.
He's not putting his full effort into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he's not resolute, and you have to remember, it is advanced magic. It is a difficult situation, well above his wizarding level. It's not going well. And Lupin's like, hey, well, you're only 13. There are people older than you that can't do this. You're not passing out anymore. This is getting easier for you. But Harry's like, yeah, but if I keep up at this pace, is it really going to be beneficial for me? Is it going to work? Am I? And Wood even brings that up later. Maybe it's the next chapter, right? As they're, Harry, you got that? You good with this? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Don't worry about the Dementors.
But yeah, but at the same time, it's like, man, you're 13, and you're already learning this at 13.
Well, and if you've read the entirety of the books, you assume in book 5, Harry is kind of showing other students this, and the Weasley twins are there. So at this point, the Weasley twins are in their 7th year.
Yeah,
So
that's
if they're
true.
in their 7th year and
Yeah.
and Harry is showing them this, then we have to assume that at least in 6 years, maybe they were supposed to cover it 7th year, but they've got Umbridge, so it's not
Well,
being covered.
it's not taught at
At
Hogwarts. So,
least it's not taught in the first 6 years.
yeah. Maybe. Yeah, you're right. Maybe. I never thought about that.
Think about it, Jeremiah. That's what we do here. We think about these things.
I'm curious to know if anybody else thinks that. Do you think this would have been taught if Umbridge wasn't there, or would it just still not have been taught at all? That's
Yeah, you
curious.
never know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So, as Lupin is talking up Harry, making Harry feel great, which is another reason why we all love Lupin so much.
Love you, Lupin.
He he pulls out a butterbeer and he's like, "Here, you've earned a drink, something from the Three Broomsticks. You wouldn't have tried it before."
Which is a really weird thing to say. Like that was a very JK, I don't think JK really dug very hard on that one.
It's
Because
still
in the
funny,
very
though.
in the
Yeah.
very next chapter, Fred and George sneak to Hogsmeade, get a bunch of butterbeer and fire whiskey and treats, and come back and pass it out to everybody in Gryffindor Tower. So this is kind of a really weird thing to be like, oh, you've never tried. Bro, I've been involved with in the wizarding world for 2.5 years. What makes you think I wouldn't have tried
Well,
butterbeer before?
I mean, he was in Diagon Alley or in
Yeah,
Hogsmeade for 2 whole weeks, so of course he's.
yeah. You're telling
You
me
would
there's no
assume he tried
butterbeer in
butterbeer,
Diagon Alley?
Yeah.
You telling me he went to Florian Fortescue's and didn't have a butterbeer float? Like,
Right,
come on
right.
now. Anyway,
This is funny though, but it's
anyway.
funny. Yeah.
So yeah, so Lupin's like, oh, you've never had this before, and Harry's like, oh, butterbeer. Yeah, I like that stuff. Oh, Ron and Hermione brought me some back from Hogsmeade.
It's great.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we get some more information about Dementors. I feel like we're just talking about Dementors every single chapter.
A lot of
I mean,
Dementor, yeah.
it's a big plot to the book. So Harry is wondering what's under the hood, and Lupin says, well, the only people that can tell us that can't tell us. So chapter notable number 5, the reason why they can't tell you is because when they lower their hood, they're going to perform what's called a Dementor's kiss. They don't kill you, they suck out your soul, which Lupin describes as much worse than death. You can exist without your soul, you know, as long as your brain and heart are still working. But you have no sense of self anymore, no memory, no anything. There's no chance at all of recovery. You'll just exist, an empty shell. And your soul is gone forever, lost. It's the fate that awaits Sirius Black. And Harry's like, yeah, he deserves it. And Lupin's like, really?
well, and
Really?
he also tells him how it happens.
Yeah.
Right? He's also like, oh, they latch their mouth over the mouth of the victim and they suck out their soul.
Yeah.
They did not portray it like that in the movies, and I appreciate that. I don't think we needed to see like these crusty corpses,
Yeah.
latch
Well-
their face.
The HBO series.
Good.
And which I'm actually a little worried about with everything going on right now with the sale of Warner Brothers, which I knew
Warner-
nothing about
Yeah.
until suddenly I was like, oh, wait, Netflix is what?
Buying
Warner Brothers?
and HBO Max. Yeah.
Yeah, now Paramount is hopping in on it, and they had offered over $100 billion, like $102 billion.
Wow.
And now people are starting to make jokes about it, but it makes me worry about the future of the Harry Potter reboot. I mean, it's already in progress, so it should be fine, but switching Man, from
Yeah.
Warner Brothers to Netflix,
Yeah.
of course they're gonna have their ideas. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping this doesn't interfere with it.
Yeah, it'll be
Honestly,
interesting. It'll be interesting to see if anything changes. I think if anything does change, it will just be dates of release. But even then, I don't think Netflix is like, hey, we want to buy you, but put everything on hold. No, they're like, yeah,
yeah,
get some projects ready so that we can make money off of them.
yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Anyway, so Harry leaves Lupin, and obviously, heavy on his mind is the Dementor's kiss. And like you said, Harry was like, yeah, Sirius Black deserves it. And Harry can't let on to Lupin that he overheard the conversation in the Three Broomsticks. So Harry can't let on that Sirius Black, like he knows the truth about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like, well, if Sirius killed all those people, then, maybe. And Lupin again is like, what do you know? Are you,
It's like you think somebody actually deserves that type of fate?
yeah,
No, like no matter.
yeah,
Lupin is very like that these things happen, but they shouldn't. He's that
right,
person.
right,
Like
yeah,
they might deserve it, but they don't.
yeah,
Nobody deserves it.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, Lupin.
he's a good
Lupin
guy. He's a great guy.
Lupin's wise. Lupin's wise, and we learn his is a forced empathy, and forced sympathy, but a forced empathy for sure. So it's that we learn at the end of this book. So anyway, so Harry leaves after learning all that, and kind of mind contemplating all that, and he runs right into Professor McGonagall. Thank goodness it was Professor McGonagall. She's like, "Do watch where you're going, Potter." She's like, "I was looking for you in the common room. Here's your firebolt. There's nothing wrong with it. Here you go." And Harry's like, "Yes," like, "Let's go."
Seriously? She's like,
Yeah,
seriously?
seriously. So yeah, they're like, we did everything we could think of, and it looks great. So
I have a question. So, say you were in McGonagall's situation and you had to do whatever she did to make sure the firebolt was safe. Would you feel comfortable and confident giving it back to Harry, or would you go, did I miss something?
I have to think that um, if we were being realistic here, right? Number one, Flitwick has to be one of the most skilled charms masters to have the post as long as he has. But I assume that they contacted Quality Quidditch Supplies. I'm sure they contacted whoever manufactures the firebolt. It's like, hey, what do you get? What can be done with this?
Yeah.
And so I think, McGonagall's a super powerful witch. I'm sure Dumbledore probably got involved, and, obviously if it's Harry's safety. So I'm sure they did a lot of stuff, and there's just...
And I could even go the other route. Why didn't they just buy a different one and give it to Harry?
They got the monies. There you go. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could have.
Return that one to Quality Quidditch Supplies
Or
for
destroy
another
it.
one.
Right?
Yeah,
Destroy
for
it,
another
get
one.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're so worried about it. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to destroy this, but
Yeah.
we're going to get you another one.
But it took weeks, so we got to assume that they put a lot of work into it. So if the professors are happy, we're happy. So it goes back to the common room. Ron's like, "You got it!" And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, there's a firebolt!" And now that it's all worked out, Harry's like, "Look, we really should bury the hatchet with Hermione. She was just trying to do the right thing." And Ron's like, yeah, cool. And then we run into chapter notable number 6. They get to the common room. Neville is locked out of the Gryffindor common room because Sir Cadogan changes the password about twice a day, if you'll remember. Neville couldn't keep track of the passwords, so he asked Sir Cadogan, "Can you just give me all the passwords for the week?" And Neville writes them down. But it's Neville. I can't remember what I forgot. Neville. Right? So he...
Could it be, is it everything.
Yeah. So Neville admits that he lost that list.
No.
It's gone. So now they get to let Neville in to the common room, and that's when everyone's like, the firebolt, a real firebolt.
Yeah, and the password to get into the common room is something I would never remember. You already know the question. What is the current password?
Odds. Kabobble odds. I know it's odds, right?
Yeah.
Odds.
Odds bodykins.
Odds bodykins.
Man, you went odds and I went, there's no effing way.
Odds. I knew it was odds. Because I just remember laughing. Like, anytime it does the passwords, I'll like, say it out loud.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, odds.
But I'm like, odds
bodykins.
bodykins?
Yeah,
I'm never going to remember that one. I'm right there with Neville. Let me write that down.
Yeah. So they get in, everyone's, oohing and awing over the firebolt. And then Ron is like, or Harry's like, let me take it up to the or to our bedroom. And Ron's like, no, let me take it up there. Harry is very willy-nilly with who's holding this firebolt. And I don't like that.
Well, I mean, it's Ron.
It's Ron, but it's my brand new firebolt. The best broom in the world. No, that's fine, Ron. I'll take it up there. It's fine. I've seen you,
I mean,
vomit
he's going to let Ron
slugs.
fly it anyway.
That's true. That's true. So Ron goes up to put the firebolt up, and Ron volunteers to take the firebolt up because he's like, I got to give Scabbers his rat tonic anyway. So let me go up there and do that. Chapter notable number 7. Ron comes back down, furious with Hermione because Scabbers isn't in there. But what was in there was blood-stained sheets and ginger cat hairs laying on the floor.
Right after they made up with Hermione.
They just made up with Hermione. Now Scabbers is dead.
I just gotta agree with all of our final thoughts that we've had lately. Like, there's just a lot of little things in here, a lot of tie-ins.
So good.
And we're actually able to start tying in things together that I don't even know were tied in or meant to be tied in the first place. So
yeah, looking back, I honestly don't remember the first time that I read this. Where my thoughts were, where my head was, what if at all I was connecting the dots. But looking at this chapter from the end, you're like, oh, so good.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so good.
No, it just gets better and it gets better and it gets better.
Yeah.
And Lupin, like,
Lupin grows on us every scene that Lupin is in.
Yes.
From the first lesson, books away, wands out. Okay, Neville, you can do this in the face of Snape. I was actually wanting Neville to help me. To you don't have to do that assignment. I'll talk to Snape.
Almost every scene
James.
with him, you don't go, I don't agree with that. Not until later, but as of right now, while we're getting to know him, it's great. It's when we get to know him that he's not making the best choice.
Yeah.
A little bit overwhelmed. Life.
Yeah, she builds him.
Yeah.
She develops him really well.
Yeah, and I wonder if it was on purpose. I wonder if she was like, Lupin's going to be a character that everybody loves. Or if it just kind of happened like that.
Yeah. I think, I think she knew. It's almost like she wrote, at this point, Harry doesn't have a father figure,
Yeah.
right? Dursley, Vernon was supposed to be. And you've got Hagrid, but I don't think he looks at him as a father figure. Dumbledore, he's not close to Dumbledore. And now he's had more one-on-one interactions.
Yeah, Hagrid's not really a person you can sit down and talk with him, but you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Quick to defend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I think Lupin, she's writing Lupin as, oh my gosh, there's an adult in Harry's life that he's close to, that cares about him. And Lupin's a great character.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening to us. And if you haven't pressed the button yet to like, share, subscribe, whatever, make that noise while you press it. And don't forget to share this podcast with who?
All of your Potter friends.
Yes, and join us next time when we review Chapter 13, Gryffindor versus Ravenclaw. Is that really the name of the title?
That is.
Okay.
It is just about a full chapter of Quidditch.
Happiness can be found in the darkest of times, if one only remembers to turn on the light. Squibscorner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobot and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review, to inquire about being a guest and for questions and comments, or to just give us your Harry Potter story. Email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow my YouTube at Kill Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibscorner Podcast.